kind of
Yes.
crazy right now. And we're going to be real people, authentic and live. And once we've done that part, we've done our part to address the market of the moment. We're going to ask them, you know, listen, I know that people are on all sides of the fence right now. And there's some people who are glad their property expired because they don't want to even have it on the market anymore. And then there's other people who still have a really serious need to sell their home. We don't know why, right? Maybe they're moving to help a sick relative. Maybe they have somebody they need to go take care of, or a job opportunity that's still there and they've got to get there. So on a scale of, I don't need to move right now and I'm going to wait for this virus thing to get done, or I still need to move and sell my house, where do you fall? Right? And some people, and I always am a big proponent of not handing the seller an objection. And some people say, well, now you're handing them an objection. And I'm not really, okay? Because if they say, yeah, this coronavirus thing, absolutely, because I just handed that to them on a silver platter, yeah, I'm not selling my house right now. I'm going to wait until this is over. Then I'm going to go in. Sure, I completely understand. And that makes sense, right? So I heard you. You're right. It makes sense. And if your home would have sold, where are you moving?
Yes.
So now I go back into my scripts that are no different than the scripts that we've always used, right? I hear you. I understand. That makes sense. And if you were to move, where are you moving? If your home would have sold, where were you moving? What was the reason? Why were you moving? Upsize, downsize, job, taking care of somebody. What was the purpose of you moving? And if they give me any of those reasons, I'm just going to now go with the flow of that conversation as if the coronavirus didn't exist, because I am either going to find out that they were really, truly motivated and still have a reason to move and convey to them that I can help them, or I am going to, and in which case, if they did really still have a need and motivation to move that was real, explain to them how I can help them and set up an appointment, a virtual appointment, just like this one, right? And if they say, no, absolutely not, didn't need to do this, was doing it because I wanted to downsize, but what's going on, I don't need to. Or I wanted to upsize, but we're not busting right now, I'm just going to hang on the sidelines. Sure, completely understand. And if let me ask you, it's been on the market for 6 months. Why do you think your home didn't sell? Really? Now we can have that conversation, right? All pressure's off. I'm not trying to list your house. Why do you think your home didn't sell? Right? And they're going to give me their reason. And I'm going to tell them, listen, great news. There's only 3 reasons why your home didn't sell. It's either price, presentation, or marketing. If you had to guess which one it was, what would you say? And now we're going to have a conversation around that. Sure. And if I'm able to, we'll get past that. And listen, if I'm able to stay in touch with you, actually send you information about your neighborhood. When you're ready to sell your home again, when all of this is done, if I stay in contact with you and get you great information, and I show you that I can help you sell your house because I specialize in selling houses that didn't sell the first time around. I mean, all I'm looking for is the opportunity to interview, to be the agent that would help you. Is that fair enough? Right? And so now I'm going to have a database conversation. Right? What's a good email? We'll send you some information, on your neighborhood, on myself. Right? And we'll stay in touch. And now I'm going to start to get nurturing that and building a foundation to follow up until they're ready to sell their house again. Because I promise you one thing, these people that were thinking about selling their house, they had motivation because they had their house on the market for 6 months. And that time period, they had to keep their house just so. It's painful. It's not easy to keep a property on the market, to keep it listed for sale, to have it ready for showings every day. They didn't go through that because they didn't have any motivation. They had some sort of motivation. Now our job is to stay in touch with them and build that foundation again. They're going to sell again, right? And it may not be a month from now or 2 months from now, or it may be 6 months from now. Could be a year from now. And the great news is I'll still be selling real estate a year from now. So I'm going to be there to help you. And that's what we're trying to convey. And if it's for sale by owner, it's just not a different conversation either. First thing, market's crazy. You know, I know a lot of for sale by owners, they're taking their houses off the market. But there are still some for sale by owners that have a tremendous need to sell their home. So on a scale of I'm taking my house off the market, I don't need to sell, to I absolutely still need to sell, where do you stand? Sure, I understand. And with this market, it's going to require a little bit different steps because you're not going to have people running through your house, are you? Not right now. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I can show you what we're doing to actually still get people to see your home and be able to virtually see it and share you with you how we're doing that. Would that be a conversation you'd be interested in having? So we're right back into the same scripts, aren't we? They're going to hand us an objection and we're going to go ahead and rebut that, aren't we? We're looking for the motivated, right? Those other people, cool, database. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So that's a great segue into our topic. So again, yeah, Anna, absolutely.
Thank you
What's
so
up,
much.
Marisol? How are you? Yeah, you're welcome. So we're going to talk about, hey, Marisol, we're going to talk about the same thing we talk about. So we're going to talk about the same thing we talk about every day. All right. And this is the key to this. We want to keep this mindset going. We are going to lead generate for buyers and sellers. We're going to find the motivated every day. Every day. That's our focus, right? We're going to make care calls because we care about these people, right? People in our sphere, absolutely. The people that we're going to meet by calling for sale by owners, absolutely, right? And I know you people. You care. You do. And we're still going to lead generate, right? And I'm going to tell you something that maybe I hadn't said to you before. Lead generation is another way that you show you care about people. Because if you're not speaking with these people, someone else is. And is there a chance that those people are just motivated for their own purposes, their own good? They're listening to the radio station WIFM. What's in it for me? Right? So they don't care about the client, they care about a paycheck. And that's not the case here. If we're doing this correctly, everything is done with the client's needs in mind. And then what happens through that is by osmosis, something good happens to us when we do something good for other people. Zig Ziglar said, you'll have everything you ever want in the world if you first help other people get what they want. So that's our job. Help those people get what they want. Okay? And if we leave them to what's left, if we're not calling them, we're doing everybody a disservice. Right? They should be working with us. And if you have a mindset of that's your mission, to make sure that everybody gets to experience the ability that you have, the talent that you have, the care that you have, and bring that to the table with them. If you're not doing it, you're doing them a disservice. You've got to get a mindset like that so that will take away your concern about calling, your concerns about lead generating. Lead generating is a service that you're doing for those people. Okay. So every day, that's what we're going to do. Every day, growing our business, we're making presentations. You know, in this case, our lead generation is going to lead to us having a listing presentation. And I know that everyone on here can improve on their listing presentations, myself included. Right? And if we do that really well and we master that script, there is going to be more lead generation because you know that you're going to knock it out of the park when you get to the listing presentation. And if your listing presentation is not on point, you're going to lead generate less effectively. In the past 6 months, that's been my huge aha. You're going to lead generate less effectively until you have your listing presentation. You're killing it. When you're killing that, lead generation is going to be a breeze. So I don't know. I don't know about how you guys have been doing previewing real estate, because that's the other thing that we do every day, right? Are you guys still working with buyers? And if you're not working with buyers, so you're going on and checking out the virtual tours, we still want to be experts in our neighborhoods, experts in the areas that we want to farm and work in. So if we're not doing it, let me just put it this way. You guys should be looking at the MLS every day. Whether or not you're working with a buyer or a seller, you need to be looking at the MLS every day. Number one, getting trends, seeing what the trends are. How many new properties are coming to the market? How many new properties are dropping their prices that have recently come to the market? How many are back on the market? We need to know these things because when somebody asks, we want to be an expert. We want to be knowledgeable. When somebody asks you a question about real estate, it's not a mistake. They probably have a need. And if you know the answers to this, you're now converting this conversation into opportunity. And if you don't have an answer, what are you doing? How's the market? Wow, market sucks. Okay. I don't know if I want to continue to talk to you. If I had a need, okay, it was good talking to you. Peace, right? How's the market? Well, here's what I know. And now you're going to go through different price points because the market is not, we don't have a blanket answer, right? We can't say it's just great. We need to move on to different things. And this leads into our database conversation, which is the focus of our conversation today. How do we convert those people into foundations for follow-up, right? Relationships. We talked about that. Your relationships with these people are going to determine whether or not you get business from them or not, and you're able to help them, right? Building those relationships. So, and the skills that we're going to focus on today is really about how to use your database, converting those conversations into opportunity. And I say opportunity, it doesn't mean in the next week or two. It means in the next year or two, right? Because it's not just about today. If we focus on just the business we get today, we will scare away future business. 100%. You will judge away opportunity, right? So we need to focus on the database. And when we do that, we're building a strong foundation for our own business. And John, you know that thing that Gary said about your business grows in relationship to how strong your database is. And I know it's different words, but
yeah, well, Gary actually said a couple, I think it was last year, to Brad Inman. He was speaking about people who aren't making money in this business. Brad Inman was asking about that, people that aren't making money in the business, and Gary said, "Well, I challenged them to show me the size of their the size of their database, because the size of their database is going to directly affect the size of their paycheck, the size of their bank account." 100% directly correlates directly to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so everybody knows what a database is here, right? Show a nods or hands or whatever. Everybody knows what a database is. And I know that not everybody is using it to its top performance, to what its design is, okay? So why should we use a database? Let me just ask that question. Somebody jump in and answer. What's the importance? Why should we use it?
Well, if you keep growing a database, it's too hard to manage everybody and keep track of everybody without a database.
Yeah, how many people are in your database, Alan?
Currently in my command, there's 94, because that's all I've gotten in there so far. But
okay.
My other CRM had 300 and something like that.
Okay, but you were using a CRM.
Yes.
Yeah. So old school real estate, if you talk to John Deeds, a guy like that, he had a Rolodex or a shoebox, and that's what he used to, that was the old school database, right? I'm being told to share my screen by John, and I'm going to do that in a minute because I need a break to do that. I have it on my iPad, and it's not on my computer at the moment. So I'm going to let you guys talk amongst yourself for a minute.
Gary Keller has a really cool video. It's actually pretty interesting. If you go online, you could find this cool video. And he talks about his first database, and that's exactly what it was. It was literally a shoebox. I think the name of the video is Gary Keller and his little black box, right? But what he did, he had like a 3x5 index card for every single person that he knew. And on that 3x5 index card, he had information about them. And then he had little dividers in there for every day of the year, for the entire year. And what he would do is he'd pick up this 3x5 index card, start talking to this client. When they say, yeah, I'm going to talk to you again in the middle of May, he would take that index card, go scroll back to in this box where, whichever folder said it was for May, and he would put it in there. And then every day he knew who he needed to call. And that was his primitive, albeit effective, database, right? And that's what he used. And that's what you got a lot of agents will use. Now, we tend to think that this right here, right? We tend to think that this is our database. And the truth is, this is a cell phone. That's it. Well, it's a calculator, it's a camera, it's a GPS, it's a little bit of everything, right? But this isn't your database. Your database is a living and breathing machine. It's going to tell you who to call next. It's going to tell you, talk about the things that you last spoke about them with. All right. It's a record of your relationship with them. Right. There used to be a guy that I used to, in my last life, there was a salesman that used to call me at regularly and always try to get my business. And I never gave him my business. I would always use the company that I originally liked using, except he was constantly calling me, consistently calling me every couple months. But his calls were asking me about, so what are your plans for the next couple months? Oh, I'm going skiing. Oh, who are you going skiing with? I'm going with my son. Oh, wow. Where are you going skiing? I'm going to Breckenridge. All right. So then the next time I spoke to him, he would call me up and ask me simple questions like, hey, John, so last time we spoke, you said you were going skiing. How was the trip? All right. How did your son do? How did your son do skiing? Oh my God, how was Breckenridge this time of year? I mean, he was asking me questions based on our last conversation. Right. And at first I was like, wow, this guy actually cares about me and cares about my son. And he remembers what we spoke about. No, he didn't. He wrote it down in his little 3x5 index card in a box that he kept. Okay. But that's him working his database. And long story short, with that guy in his business, my existing at the time supplier ended up going out of business, and I needed to find a new vendor. And the very first person I went to was the guy that's calling me up asking about my son, the guy that's calling me asking me about skiing, right? Effective salesman, and I was in his database. Now I know I was just in his database, and he just put a note in there, right? But it was so effective, and it worked. It got exactly what he was looking for.
All right, John, you can see my screen now?
I got your screen, buddy.
All right. So what John's talking about, it's a living record of your business and your relationships, right? It helps to nurture and manage those relationships. So what do we mean by nurture and manage them? Well, we have the neighborhood nurture, which is the new tool. And if you're having a database and you don't have people's address, then you can't use that feature. So that's why we talk about getting people and contacting them and taking notes and keeping record of who you spoke to and where those people live, right? Because we talked about that, and I got a lot of head nods when I said, yeah, people are opening those emails. They want to know what's going on in their neighborhoods. They want to know what's happening where they live. And so when you connect with somebody, the very next step is to get all the information you possibly can. Now, sphere of influence, past clients, if you have a past client who was a buyer and you help them buy this house, go ahead and give me an excuse why you don't have them on a neighborhood nurture. So my thought is that is a huge aha for me, because people go, well, they just moved in, or, whatever the case may be. They're probably not going to sell for a while. And that's just not the case, right? I just moved somebody over into Long Cove. It's a year later, they're looking to sell their house, right? And I don't have them on a neighborhood nurture. So when they called me and we had a discussion about that, I'm renting them a place out on the beach that they're going to be moving into on the 7th, because he moved in with his family, and they're Indian, and that's very common for them to move with the whole family. But now he's got a girl, and his girl don't want to move in with the family. So he's like, hey, I got to get a new place. I want to get someplace by the beach. But you know what? Mom is, super bummed about the fact that I'm leaving, because that really wasn't the plan. We were trying to buy a big house, and the girl was supposed to move in there. But I met a girl who's not down with that, right? Because most of the people in that, in that culture, they're good with moving in with the family. She's not. So we're going to rent this place, and over the next year, we're going to find a place that has like a separate house on the property, so we can buy property that has like 2 kitchens. That way they don't have to be in the same space. So now I'm talking about selling a $600,000 house and buying a house that's probably close to $1 million over the next year, right? To get him a place like that. And I didn't have him on a neighborhood nurture. Now it's cool that I had a relationship with him, because he knew to call me. Hey, John, can you hear that in the background? Because that's kind of loud.
Very little. You're good.
Okay, because otherwise I'll switch to my other headset. So anyways, that was opportunity. And you think about it, like we had a connection. He liked me, we liked each other, and I was became close with his family over the time. And let's imagine for a second that we just had a regular old transaction and there wasn't a great relationship built. It's a year later, and he's looking to sell that house. Is there a possibility I lose that opportunity with that person? There is, because we know that the National Association of Realtors says that 87% of the people polled would use the same realtor, but only 12% do. I don't know what happens to the other 1%, but this is the numbers, right? So that's our responsibility, to nurture and manage these relationships. And the database is a perfect tool to do that. It produces a predictable flow of business. So what do we mean by that? So at Keller Williams, we track everything. So we track everything from the biggest producers that we have. And what they're seeing is a 10% return on business when they nurture their database properly. So if you have, and I know that we go over this, and it bears repeating, if you have 200 people in your database and you're nurturing them properly, let's say that your health score is 100%. So nurturing them properly, what does that mean? I want to hear from some of you guys. What does that mean? What is our contact with them annually, and how do we do that? I want to hear from you guys, because I know you know the answers to this.
36 touches at least. Have all their info, name, address, email, birthdays, anniversaries, neighborhood nurture, got them on some smart plans.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. So we've got them on smart plans. We got them on neighborhood nurtures. We've got them on home purchase anniversary. If we've got a wedding anniversary, birthdays, those are all awesome. And you can program those into your command. The key then, if we've done everything right, we've got them on a neighborhood nurture. If they're a seller, they should be on the buy monthly. They should be 2 times a month. They should receive information about their neighborhood, because they're thinking about selling. If it's a buyer or a past client, it's just 1 time a month. So how do we fill in those other spaces? Well, at the very least, we've got four phone calls a year. Those 4 calls are, hey, how's it going? What's going on? Those are little Ford finger sandwiches, right? They're smaller than the Ford conversations that we have when we're concreting that relationship. They're just shorter. and just checking in, see if there's anything you need, right? And just keep in mind, if you need anything, I want to be your resource. When you need a landscaper, when you need a plumber, an electrician, anything you need, it's real estate related, I want you to think of me, right? And before I let you go, do you know anybody who's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? No? Okay, great. Thanks for taking a minute to think about that. And if you ever did know anybody who was looking to buy or sell, would you give me a call? Now, why do we say give me a call? Somebody answer that.
Because they won't ever, the other guy won't call you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Because they'll give out your number. They'll give out your number. What's the chances that that person's gonna call you? They're gonna make a call to a stranger and tell them that, I need some help. How many times do you do that? It's not very common, is it? So we ask them to give you a call, right? And then we'll have a conversation with that. And so what does that conversation look like? Oh yeah, my friend Fred, he's looking to actually sell his house. Okay, fantastic. So let me, give me a second and let me grab a pen. I'm not asking them, is it okay? Would it be all right if? Because that's going to put in their head that it's not okay. It's not all right. All right? I'm going to literally go for the close and I'm going to say, hey, let me grab a pen. This way I can take down his phone number. Okay, I got a pen. I'm ready. Go ahead. And I'm going to make it feel like that's their natural conclusion is they should give me their phone number. And if they have objections, we'll handle that. All right. But I want it to be natural conclusion. Like this happens for me all the time. People just give me phone numbers. So if I feel confident, they'll feel confident. Right. So predictable flow of business from your database. And the other thing that it does, it improves the service and strengthens those relationships. So that's the 4 phone calls. That's what they're for, right? To get some more information. Right? Find out how old their kids are. Did they just graduate from school? Are they in college? How long have they been in college? Right? Because what do we find out when their kids are in college or they're graduating soon? Well, maybe they're getting a job. Maybe they're getting a job right out of college. Now you don't need that 5.3 anymore, do you? So we're investigating, right? Take a look and see before you call somebody. Do a quick flip into Facebook and see what's going on in their lives. Hey, I noticed on my feed that you were doing XYZ, right? How was that trip? Or what's happening with this? Or I saw something on your Facebook, and I know that sometimes people put this up, but it sounds like you got somebody in your family who's ill. I just noticed it came across the thing. How's everything going? Right? These are phone calls to people that are just strengthening relationships, showing that you care, showing that you're different, right? And if you've got a great relationship with those people, it's only a foregone conclusion that when it's time for them to buy or sell real estate, they're going to use you. That's what this is all about. So what are the other things that we're going to do besides maybe a birthday card or having our computer send them an anniversary for their home? What else are we going to do?
We could send video monthly market updates.
Sure. And we're also going to market to them, right? We've got a new listing, right? And we can do that through our command. We can grab a handful of people and share with them that we're successful at what we do. That there was a reason why they used us, and there's also a great reason why their friends should use us as well, right? So when we get a new listing or, we have a great closing or something happens within, the first maybe property close within 10 days of listing, we're going to share those successes. And they're going to say, man, my realtor is a rock star, right? He knows what he's doing. She knows what they're doing, right? And that's another thing. So how can we identify those people in certain groups? Maybe these were people that were thinking about selling. can we tag them in a database? So that's another way that we can make our database super strong and healthy, is by tagging these people with specific tags. These are sellers and buyers, right? In John's case, he's got a lot of people that are tagged with military, right? Or church group or something like that. That way, when you have a message to send, it's easy to find the participants that you want to send that message to. That's the difference between... I'm hearing something, and I'm not sure what I'm hearing. What was I hearing? Was somebody trying to say something? Hello? All right. So just back. All right. So background noise. So now that I've done that, I've gone from getting your database set up is what I would consider entrepreneurial. Okay. You've done a good job. You've gotten your database set up. Now we want to move to purposeful. Now, what's purposeful? What do we do in our database that's going to be super purposeful? Well, I just said it. So we tag people so that when we have a message to send, we can send a message that is very specific to those groups. And that is the difference between just having a database where you kind of had some group of people to really using it as a tool to create more opportunity for you and for those people. So we'll move on. And guys, I super appreciate you guys being here, because this is the first time we're teaching this module, and we're kind of learning together. So I want to say thanks. We're sharing great information, and ultimately, this is the first time that you guys are all seeing this. I noticed that we have some people who have already been to Ignite that are still that are back here to see what's the difference on this. And the difference is that we're going to share with you these items, and then after we're done, we really want you to focus on getting in there and doing something about it, right? So when this is finished, we expect you to go ahead and take what you've learned, now make these phone calls and be super purposeful about building your database, right? Take this that you're learning and put it into practice. Implement what you've learned today, right? So we already went over the purpose of the database, what makes it valuable, what other industries use a database for prospecting and marketing? I don't know, some pretty successful companies. Somebody rattle off a couple of names of companies that use a database very successfully.
I guess
you probably got a minimum of one email from this one company already today.
Amazon.
Amazon. Yeah, Amazon. So some people have like a drunk monkey about, oh, I'm going to send too many emails. They're going to freak out and they're going to just like delete or unsubscribe, right? So that's a concern. Amazon hits you at least 1,000 times a year. At least. Does anybody here unsubscribe from Amazon?
No.
Hell no. We need that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. No, we need our Amazon. We're not going to subscribe from that. No way. Right?
No.
And that's because they're bringing value to our lives.
Yeah.
Right? So this is why I bring this up, because you need to be bringing value to these people's lives. Right? And so every time they see a neighborhood nurturer, that's valuable. They're going to open that up. It tells them what's going on in their neighborhood. Right? When you're sending a birthday card separate from your database, they know they got it from you. When they see an email, they're going to be like, oh, that's Mike. I'm not unsubscribing for that. He sent me a card, right? Or when you're sending an anniversary about their home purchase, make it be quality information, right? Those phone calls that you make are also to strengthen the relationship and have them not unsubscribe, right? We're going to just touch base. How you doing? Their lawyer doesn't do this. Their doctor is not calling them to see, hey, how are you? Right? Their accountant, they're talking to them once every time it's to do their taxes. We're that fourth professional in their life, and we're calling to see how you doing. That's why they're not going to unsubscribe, and also because you're sending quality information. So don't freak out about sending emails. I talk to people about that all the time. I'm like, honestly, if you're talking to them on a regular, well, they don't talk, they just text. Okay, and so when I sent out this information, you know, just about their neighborhood, they unsubscribed and now they block my number. Cool, get rid of that junk in your database. That's junk. They think I'm salesy. But why? Because you're trying to help them and be a resource? Cool, get rid of that person. If they think that your touches are not valuable, it's either on you or on them. And nobody cares. So what? Right? Who cares? Next, move on to the next person. There's so many people that have contacts in their database that I think are friends, and ultimately they're not. Because friends want to see you succeed and they want to see you do well, don't they? And if they don't, John Dietz says something really interesting. He says, pay attention when you do something really well and you look out to the stands, pay attention. Don't pay attention to the people who are clapping. Pay attention to the people who are not. Those are not, those people do not belong in your sphere. Okay? Clean up your database. So what we've all been talking about in the last few minutes is targeted marketing, right? We're targeting those people who we know find value in our contact, and also they want to help us grow our business. So you should be able to call them up and say, listen, I'm in a contest today, and the goal is to get 10 referrals. I wanted to touch base with you today and find out who you know is looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. Right? So the idea is these people are your database and they're your data bank. Okay, so if we use the word bank, we are okay to make a withdrawal on this data bank, assuming that we've made enough deposits in these people's lives. Okay, so I've sent you cards, I've sent you letters, I'm keeping you up to date what's going on in your neighborhood, your subdivision. I'm giving you a call 4 times a year just to see how you're doing. Those are all my deposits into your life, into our relationship. And today I'm calling you to see who you know who's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. I'm asking to make a withdrawal. So if you've been depositing good things and you've been a resource in these people's lives, you have the absolute right to give a call and ask for a withdrawal. And if you haven't, then don't make that phone call until you do the rest. Do the work to make sure your database is healthy. And then it's going to be easy. You know, it's funny because Jason Caput has made a lot of deposits into his database's life to where he can call them up and say, hey, what do you got for me? That's his script. That's his absolute script. Hey, what do you got for me? And they know exactly what he's looking for. He's looking for business. And he can do that because he's made a lot of deposits in those people's lives. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Let me have a couple of ahas from that. Something that you heard that you were thinking about, whatever. Somebody say something. Tired of talking.
John and Mike, I have a question. You know, I've been like getting some data around the neighborhood that I'm focusing in. Some of these people, I know a few people in here. I don't know everybody, and I would like to send. So I have few emails. I don't have everybody's email, but I definitely have everybody's address. I'm thinking about making a market report for the maybe last month and 7 days. I have I don't know when I do the market, I have a few certifications. Like I have the ESA and I have the senior certification. I usually don't use it because I don't know if it's convenient to put it in there. So should I put my certifications in there or why shouldn't?
Absolutely. No reason not to go ahead and put your certifications. It brings value to what your relationship is with them. Shows that you can help them with other things. There's no harm in doing that. And absolutely update those investors or those people with the market report. For sure. For sure. No question.
Okay.
Some other...
So
Sorry, go ahead,
told me,
Marisol.
because somebody told me one time that it would be like bragging.
Oh,
You know, would
Drunk
be-
monkeys.
Okay.
Yeah, if you've got certifications, that means that you're more valuable to those people. If I have, so when you walk into your doctor's office and it has all of his plaques on the wall about where he graduated from and different areas of expertise and so on, when you see that, do you go, oh my God, this guy's a bragger? No, you're going, cool, this guy knows a lot of stuff. I'm glad. Okay, look me over. Tell me what's wrong with me. Perfect.
Okay.
That's what you want. So any other ahas from what you heard in the last few minutes?
Well, you know, Mike, one of the things I think about is, you know, we get very nervous about making 36 touches a year, right? 36 telephone calls a year, or not even 36, 4 telephone calls a year, right? And we feel like we're bothering people. We feel like we're annoying people. Yet, like you said, Amazon, I know they're sending out about 1,200 to 1,300 emails every single year. And they're not caring about, am I annoying them? They're caring about, am I staying top of mind so that when they want to purchase something online, they're going to come right to us.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
every other, you know, during when we were watching sports or something like that, every other commercial is a Nike commercial, right? Nike is all over the place. However, when someone thinks of high quality running or athletic shoes, they're thinking Nike. You know?
Yeah, no question. And I do. You know, when you think about your favorite soda, or even if it's not your favorite, what's the most popular? It's Coke. Everybody says Coke. Alan, you had something.
He said he's okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the data bank and make sure you're making your deposits in so you can take some money out. I mean, that was perfect, perfectly said.
Yeah, I wish it was mine. It doesn't belong to me, and it still has the same effect, right? So let's move down and let's think about the 3 levels of a millionaire database. So one. So if you're, John, can you mute everybody and then we'll unmute as we go because I'm hearing some background stuff. What's essential? We went over this yesterday and it's worth going over again. Essential is that we have obviously we have their phone number, right? That's the first piece of information that we generally get. We have their home address. We have their email address. We have who they're in a relationship with, right? Who they married to. What are the kids' names? Get their dogs' names. If you sold their house, you probably know their pets' names. Write this stuff down. This is crucial. I know that doesn't sound crucial, but it is. Because when you call up and say, you know, when I sold your house, I really enjoyed, like I've sold people's houses where I had to do all the showings personally, and I had got to hang out with their pets, like when I did multiple showings and whatever. And I miss Roscoe, you know what I mean? I miss Frankie and Vinny, the 2 fat cats, right? I miss those guys. How they doing? People are going to eat this stuff up. They love this because pets are our family. Again, this is so these are essential things to building that database. Right? Find out what their anniversary is. Get their birthdays. How do we get their birthdays? Well, Facebook, or when you help them buy a house or sell a house, you have their driver's license. You know, say, I need to take a picture of your driver's license. And everybody's just going to give that to you. They don't care. And you've got their birthday, you know? So these are essential things, right? Knowing their kids' ages, also cool, right? So then, anybody else want to share what they think in the database that I didn't mention could be essential there?
Home anniversary.
Okay, so that means home anniversary. Absolutely. Yeah, anniversaries, and when we think about anniversaries, we should think about their wedding anniversary, absolutely, and their home anniversary. Those 2 are definitely key because that adds to your 36, right? Because if we've got hold on, I'm getting a message on the screen. Okay. So if we've got those two things, those are 2 more touches, right? So if we've got 12 touches in our emails that we send, or 24 if we're doing a neighborhood nurture, right? And now we've also got those 2. We've got a birthday card for 1 or more participants, right? And we're adding more information, a marketing piece for a new listing. This is how we get to 36, right? And we schedule these emails, we schedule these calls so that when we flip open our laptop and we look at our command activities for today, it tells us to do the things that we said we wanted to do. Now our job is to go and do it. And so many people go, put that off to tomorrow. Put that off to tomorrow. Like you throw things in a pile, and then that pile becomes so big that you go, I'm not going to even touch that today, right? Show of hands, how many people suffer for this in their garage, right? You just stop putting stuff, and this can happen to your database to where it's too difficult to catch up to. Now you've made yourself a mountain instead of just having an opportunity to do it on a daily basis. Don't put this off, guys. It piles up and it'll make you just not want to go back into that room, right? Do it daily. You'll be surprised at how effective this can be when you do it daily. And then you go, oh my God, I got a great lead. Got a great lead because you did what you told yourself to do. Simple. So that's about being effective. Effective is going in every day and doing what you told yourself to do. So what's exceptional? What's exceptional ways to deal with your database? Somebody give me an idea.
Perhaps send them some gifts if they are very special to you. If you're very connected, they've been past customers maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. So we call that, you can do it a couple of different ways. So you can go and I'm gonna cheat down the screen here. So when you have somebody who's given you a referral, right? They've contributed to your business, to your life. And you're gonna all have those people in your life that just anytime they hear somebody talk about real estate, they've given you a call and made your connection. And because they made that connection, they spoke to that person and said, if you're doing anything, you got to talk to Mike. You got to talk to Mike. He's the guy. He's a rock star, sold my condo in 6 days. And I'm saying that because I have somebody like that who she sent me 3 referrals and it was an expired listing. That's how I met her. She was an expired. She had a house on the market for 6 months, didn't sell. I came in, took it over, sold it for the same price. So there's your also aha is, and I love to take the credit because I'm amazing. And the reality is it was a small brokerage who didn't have the advertising power, the marketing power that we did. And as soon as I listed it, there was interest immediately. Sure, I took better pictures. Sure, I worded it so that it was tapping into emotions rather than just details. So I did my part, and then Keller Williams Marketing did their part. And we got that home under contract in 6 days at full price. But she was amazed. And she sent me referrals like they were going out of style. So yeah, my last pop by, I brought her 2 bottles of wine, right? Just sat down in her living room, chilling with her. And we just talked, not about business, not about anything. That's exceptional, right? That's how you treat people who treat you really well. And so find those people, right? Your family. Somebody sent you a referral in your family, or if you haven't gotten a referral in your family, literally have a pop-by with those people. Talk with them. If you haven't gotten one, they probably know people who bought and sold real estate. If you haven't gotten one, maybe you're not bringing enough into their relationships that you have with them. And maybe that's a thought process that you need to bring more to those relationships, right? All right, so let's cheat down to the next screen. So effective. We don't add people to our database without talking to them first. So I'm going to say that again. We don't add people to our database without speaking to them first. It's a violation of their personal space and rights. Don't do that. Think about how you felt when you got some email from somebody who was starting a new makeup line or something like that, or anybody you knew, but then they just threw you on an email and never even spoke to you, never even told you that they were in the business of whatever it was. Did you feel a little violated? Somebody had that experience? If you did, share it with me.
I did not have direct experience, but I hate when people add me to Facebook groups without my prior agreeing. I hate it. I can't stand it. What I do is I go out right away. Pass off.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like
yeah.
that.
So she used
Not
the word
cool.
hate. That is a super strong emotion, isn't it? I hate that, right? It's a super strong emotion. So the point I'm bringing out is that first phone call, that gets you permission to send this information. And you need to ask for permission because that is going to make this an effective process. I talked to you. I told you I'd be sending that information. You knew it. You expected it. You were going to receive this. This is not a surprise for you, right? And now you have their permission. So that when they get that email, they're not going to unsubscribe from you, right? They're going to have a different feeling around. Oh, you told me. Okay, cool. So we're going to collect all their personal information we discussed already. We're going to segment them and group them. I don't know the 1 to 6, to be honest with you. I don't know what that is yet. And I'm imagining it's going to be, you've got your A buyers, A sellers, B, C, all the way down the road. Then you've got your people from church. You're going to segment them and tag them, right? And we're going to have purposeful and consistent communication, which we talked about. It's a neighborhood nurture. It's the 4 calls a year. If it's an investor or somebody like that, it could be more. It's all depending on the relationship, how many times you contact these people. So let's cheat down to exceptional. And so automated custom communication built around triggers, right? So we know what automated means. We know what custom communication is. We've decided that we're going to communicate them in a very specific way. What's triggers? Somebody share with me what they feel could be triggers.
So, like when you plug somebody into your database and you have a tag for them, say your tags for SOI, and every time you tag somebody with SOI and it enters your database, it shoots out a welcome email or a thank you email or something like that. It does it automatically just by you.
Yeah. So I want to also just give you an idea about the word trigger. So if you've done a really good job of communicating with people, you know when big life events are coming up. And you get to go ahead and go into the calendar and move forward in time, right? And maybe a week before a major event in their life, you're going to touch base with them, right? My kid is graduating college at this time. I'm going to go into my database and I'm going to go to the calendar and I'm going to remind myself to call them about this. Oh yeah, next year, my husband's getting this huge promotion. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but he works for a multinational corporation and we're supposed to be seeing this come through. He's got seniority, blah, blah, blah. Or we're retiring in 3 years. I'm going to my calendar. Retirement in 3 years. 6 months prior to that, I'm talking to him about what the plans are for retirement. The whole time before that, I'm talking about that, but I'm going to get serious about that conversation 6 months before that happens because I'm going to be an integral part of that. So think about triggers. These are life events, right? And you want to make sure that you're ahead of those. So the idea is to be in the way of good things to come, right? And the way we get in the way is we automate things. We automate so that we can be in the way of things that are coming for them. So now we've kind of covered a lot of ways that you can use your database to create opportunity for yourself and to be ahead of what's happening with their lives. So questions about that, something you think maybe I missed, or ideas that you have that we haven't covered in how to use this in the most purposeful way possible.
I just had a quick question. So when you mean by triggers, is what's triggering us? Like, oh, wait a minute. These couples that I met maybe 6 months ago, they are engaged, they're about to get married. That's a trigger word for me to reach out to them. Oh, wait a minute. They may be interested in buying a property. Is that how I'm translating it?
Yeah, either it's triggering them and triggering you, right? So it triggers them because they now have some event going on in their lives. And we found that out because we were doing a really great job of managing our database, of servicing those leads, right? And being in good relationships with those people. So now we set a trigger for ourselves ahead of time to call them before these events in their lives. And that comes down to really managing your database, really putting in those notes, caring about what's really happening in those lives, in their lives, and being there for them before those things happen, right? So we always start with the end in mind, right? And so, yeah, I've got this 5-year plan, and then I'm moving to Aruba. Awesome. I want to go there with you, right? But this is 5 years. So during these 5 years, I'm talking about it with you. And as we get, into the last year of those 5 years, we're getting serious about our conversations. That's a trigger for you. My kids are going to be all moving out, and this is the date that the last one's going to be gone. And then we're moving to wherever. We're going to keep this house and rent it, and then we're moving to wherever. Cool. I know what your plan is. And now I can be part of that plan. Right? So think about that. The database is a plan to help people with their plans, right? So we use the database in these ways, and the reason why we use it is to avoid the today trap. I'm not just looking for today's business. I'm looking for all the business. Today, a year from now, 5 years from now, down the road. Think about when people sell their businesses. What do they sell?
The database.
Their
A
products.
database.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when a physician sells his practice, he's selling something that has value.
Yes.
If you have your database here, can you sell this? Does it have any information besides a name and a phone number?
No.
This means nothing. This means nothing to someone. If you have a rock star database and you can prove that it's kicking out 25 to 50 deals a year, can you sell that?
Yes.
You can get into business with somebody and show them that this is the value of your database. Connect with those clients over time, run this together, and then hand this off to somebody and get real value out of it. Because I'm going to tell you that we know that the average commission is $9,000 for a sale in our market in Coral Springs. So 9,000, let's imagine you're doing 50 sales. 9,000 times 50 is $450,000 worth of business. So if I can sell somebody, this is what I'm doing 50 sales a year, and I'm getting it all through my database. Does that have value to somebody who's in real estate? A big team, somebody like that who's got actual people on board to help them process this database? Absolutely. So this is, guess what? We don't have 401k plans, guys. That's not something that we have. This is not saleable, but your database is. What's your golden parachute? What's your plan for the future? Here's one. It's got very predictable ROI when you're doing it correct. So return on investment, right? And if we have this and it's humming along and we're managing this well, we've not only got something that's going to keep our lives and our families fed and comfortable, but now we've got something that we can resell later on. So any ahas from that? Did anybody think about that? What's your thoughts here?
Mike, I have a question. when you say to do not add people to the database without the permission, um, I was thinking before. I was thinking that the database was like kind of a bank of contacts, and so I don't know how to say this. I was thinking that I can put people in my database like to keep track of birthdays, events, and things like that. But I won't put them in automatic plans or something like that until I get the permission. But I will still have it in my database. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's okay to still have them in your database, but I want you to put them on the smart plans, and I want you to get their permission to send them the emails. Let them know what's coming ahead of time. Right?
Okay.
Let them know. I'm going to send you out these emails. I'm going to send you my app. I want you to take a look at it. That's a reason to call back and see that they've been using the app. Just have a conversation with them on a regular basis, and regular can be, 4 times a year. Okay? All right. So any other ahas around the last thing we were just discussing?
So
Just
these are
make your
languages.
database.
Go, Alan. Go. You go.
All you ladies first.
I just wanted to confirm. So, because these are new languages for me. So, when you mean by touch campaigns, 19 to connect, 4 touches are like 4 phone calls or a call quarterly. 12 touches are like the monthly emails. 2 touches are like promotional. Are ways to communicate, ways to connect.
Yes, and those first, the 8x8s that you see, that's
Yeah.
when you work with a new buyer or a new seller. Those are to concrete the relationship. And so
Okay.
when we tell them, hey, I'm going to send you out some emails and you're going to get one once a month, just give them a heads up. At first, it's going to feel like it's more. They're just to get you familiar with the processes that I use, and they're just to kind of so that you can see some information about me. And after that, it'll be just once a month. So just kind of give them a heads up, because you just told them once a month, and now they're going to come in 8 weeks. They're probably going to get 5 emails. Right?
Okay.
And you get to set up your smart plans however you want. So those 8x8s could be 4 emails and a phone call, and 4 phone calls, or 4 emails, 2 phone calls, and 2 personal notes. So you can design yours how you want them.
Okay. I've also seen like when I receive junk mail, other businesses, for instance, like a dentist office around my way. There's at least once or twice a month I get a postcard. Oh, come and check us out. We have like this type of service. Would that be one of those maybe like do a blast flyer type of thing in my location? Would that be something to do?
Absolutely. So that's the thing. The way this smart plans are built, you can customize them. You can actually build a smart plan of your own with just your stuff. You get to put in, you can go into designs and you can set it up just the way you want, or you can use what's already been preloaded. And the cool thing is that they're preloading more and more good stuff as we go. It's a constant work in progress, and there is some really good stuff coming down the line. So set up your database, and whenever something new comes in that works for you, just plug it in, plug and play, right? So I think somebody else had something to share.
I was just going to say, that building your database like your database is your business, just completely different, like light switch for me. Because, that really makes sense. And I've been an agent for 18 months with another brokerage. Just joined Keller Williams. I'm very thankful. What you guys are doing is top notch, and we're teaching agents how to run it like a business and not just sell real estate kind of thing. It's really the way it's supposed to be. But just that aha for me was really focusing on your database and making that your business. I've heard it before. I don't know, seeing it today on the screen just light switch.
Awesome. I'm glad you're getting some good value out of it. And it was for me too. So yeah, I mean, I had the same reaction. I was like, oh my God. Cause I was like, gunslinger, you know what I mean? I'm chasing down for sale by owners expireds and just, going, that's where I'm getting my business. And that is like, so you ever see like ants? They're like crazy ants and they're like scrambling around. They don't seem to have a direction. They're crazy ants. They're literally called crazy ants. And then you see ants and they're working together to build something, and they're very specific, right? Everybody's got a specific job. And that's the difference between what I was doing and this. Because yeah, I could do really well doing that. And I did really well doing that. But that's focusing on today's business. And now if I'm doing the right thing, I'm focusing on tomorrow's business, next year's business, 5 year down the line business, so that I don't need to go scrambling like a crazy ant. I've got a very specific order to my business. And that's the difference between working like an employee in your business, or working like a business owner and working on your business, right? So yeah, so people are going to move every probably 7 to 10 years at this point, because we did a long haul. That was the old school, was 7 to 10. After the crash, it became more like 10 to 15 because people were buried in their houses, and they just start to get into the norm is moving 10 to 15. I think we're going to see a resurgence of 7 to 10. Now, a lot of people who went through that crash, we've had a lot of surge in those people saying, hey, I'm finally out from under the water. I can make a move, right? And so I think we're going to be seeing 7 to 10 again. If we're not using this database, they're so let me say that in a different way. If we use this database really, really well, we're going to see a surge in that business, and we'll be able to take advantage of it just because it'll be those things where you make those phone calls and then one day you just get a phone call and it says, hey, I'm looking to sell my house. And it's somebody that's in your database that you've been talking to 4 times a year. How cool is that? A come list me, right? And that you don't have to compete against anybody because you've built a strong relationship with them. How sweet is that? I mean, that's the best kind of business there is, guys. So if there's 100 people in your market or in your database, 10 of them, if you use this correctly, they're going to list with you. If you use it correctly. So if 65 of those people are looking to become homeowners and 35 are not, what can we do with so like 7 of them in that case are today's business. 7 of them. These are like National Association Realtors numbers. 7 of them. How can we find the 7 really effectively? What do we do to find the 7 that are really effective?
Give them a call.
Yeah. So don't answer that. Don't answer it. Yeah, don't answer that. The truth of the matter is you can't just find the 7. What you can do is manage the 100. And then you'll find the 7, right? So manage the 7, manage the 100 and communicate them really well. And those 7 are going to come your way. So that's John's whole algorithm looking thing where people are buying and selling. You manage the 100 and the 7 will show up for you. And then remanage the rest and then those will show up. So that's the key is there's no magic wand to find those 7 people today. There is a very specific way we can use our database to find them on a regular basis. Every year, 10% of those people are going to do something in real estate. So, this is new to me, so we're going to look at this together. For every dollar that you invest in your database activities, expect at least $14. So return on investment, 10 to 1, 14 to 1. But some KW agents reported a return on investment as high as 40 to 1 ratio. And that's only by communicating consistently to that database, specifically through your sphere of influence. So it is possible to see higher than that 10%. So ways that people are more likely to see higher than that 10% event. And until things change, we're probably not going to talk about this for a bit, but some of those activities are client appreciation parties. Right, so you're going to invite some people out. I know Melissa has done some great ones. Melissa Pabone, she's a rock star when it comes to putting on events like that. She did a movie night for like a kids movie, and people love those things. I like kids movies. Now my kids are older, we don't get to see as many, but like especially those Pixar films. And I forget what the movie she did was, but she had a ton of people come. Right now, those people are going to remember her. Why? Because she made them feel a certain way, appreciated, right? So whenever you get an opportunity to touch and love on somebody, give them some appreciation, that's a great opportunity to get a higher return. Now, it doesn't mean that they're going to move out of their house because you showed them a movie or you bought them a ticket to a movie. But what it does mean is they might have a certain feeling towards you, and that way when they hear somebody talking about selling or buying or investing in real estate, they're going to be like, you need to call this person. They were amazing. We love that person. If they hear somebody talking about real estate, they feel like they need to go and talk to that person and recommend you. So that's how you can get a higher return than what we're seeing. And we talked about that as a market center, how we can do it for people who've been doing real estate for less time, maybe only have a couple of clients. How do they throw a big event like that? And that becomes difficult. It's challenging. There's money involved. However, if we do it as an office and everybody pools resources, that way your client can come, your 2 clients can come to an event where hundreds of clients are coming and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe this guy has so much business. Right? And the reality is it's a market center. So if we don't have numbers, we lean on those teams.
Is that
right? We're yeah, so that's been in a plan for us to work on, but with this whole thing, ultimately we want to do this quarterly, right? So with this whole,
I'm sorry, that's like I was forced to hire a coach, not forced, but I needed to hire a coach with my other brokerage because I wasn't getting any coaching, and that's one of the things that he talks about is having client appreciation parties at least once a year.
Yeah, yeah. And so I'm going to change your thinking about that. You got to hire a coach. You've got to hire a coach. Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like with the Keller Williams, there's like almost built-in coaching. Kind of.
Sure.
I feel like I wouldn't necessarily had to have hired a coach. I'm glad I did, and I'm going to keep them. Trust me.
Yeah.
Maybe even look into you guys. Definitely like this all this stuff is exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah. And I really appreciate you being involved in this group, Alan, because you actually have the benefit of experiencing another brokerage that wasn't Keller Williams. And a lot of people here do not have that benefit. I joined Keller Williams when I first started, so I didn't know what I was getting until I heard what other people were missing. So I appreciate your input on that.
I mean, seriously, guys, like if you don't know, you don't need to know. It's they really get everything's handed to you. It's all there. The tools are there. You just need to use them. And with other brokers, like I had to go and piece together all the tools and put it all together here. It's all under one umbrella.
Yeah.
Good, Alan. I really do appreciate that. My only My only thing is that I feel like I need to start from the basic. Like I want to understand the platforms, like the whole KW command thing. Because I feel like if I don't have a grip on that, then you know, like I feel like I have to jump back into that so that I can work on my database. Does that make sense?
You know,
Like I know.
so yeah, you know, and I appreciate that you're saying that, and you know, being part of Ignite, a part of Spark from the very beginning like this, and you've been part of every single one. You're doing just that. You're learning everything from essentially from the basics. So you're doing that exactly right thing. So keep doing what you're doing. That's awesome. As far as you know, one of the mistakes that I made when I first got into real estate was I wanted to make sure I learned everything, and I wanted to make sure I knew everything, and then I had the best website, and I had the best database, and I had everything was situated and ready to go before I started doing business. And what ended up happening was I went 4 or 5 months without any business, and I was like, that's not what I need to do. So in this company, we're teaching you can learn by doing. Okay, you're going to learn by doing, and you have myself, and you have Mike, and you have 64 other people in the coaching program that can help you and assist you along that way. All right, you're doing what you need to do as far as being in Spark. And the only other thing I would recommend that you and Alan and actually anybody else here would be go to YouTube and just look up the 66-day challenge of command. Okay, it's a 66-day challenge, and I think he actually did like 3 different iterations of the 66-day challenge. A guy named Marty Miller, but really it breaks down our technology so that you understand the technology from the most basic level. Right? How do you log in? How do you put in a contact? How do you add someone into how do you put in their birthday? Right, all the way till you get to the advanced stuff is marketing your listings and marketing things on social media and all these other different sites and so forth. But you're doing exactly what you need to be doing. And Alan, same thing. You know, talk about 2 people that just jumped right in and have been playing at a high level since the very beginning. I love what you guys both are doing. I love your participation in these classes, and you guys are the going to be these rock stars of this company, no doubt.
Thank you so much. And see, that was my mindset. I feel like I need to be prepared before I go out there, but I'm glad that you paved. I guess you were the pioneer to realize, no, that's the mistake. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me learn from their mistakes or from their experience rather.
Otherwise, you just spend a lot of time getting ready to get ready.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
and it's doing, you know, and
Perfect.
in this business, I can't think of another industry, maybe the medical field, probably the only other industry I can think of that there is an endless supply of information, and it's all brand new information, completely endless, right? And you'll never be finished learning. You'll never be finished learning the next best way to. I always say, another way to build the better mousetrap. Okay.
John, give me a second. I had to find my computer power cord because I'm running low on battery. Okay. Bear with me.
No worries. I can actually jump in here if you'd like.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, let me see if I just share my screen then. All right, you guys got my screen? Let's pull this up. All right. And yeah, we're going to go right here. So I think one of the biggest things is, and we're going to be wrapping up here in a moment. But one of the biggest things is knowing, when Mike was talking about the return on investment, working your database is for the most part free, right? For the most part, working on your database is free. It's the lowest lead cost. It's the lowest conversion cost. It pays for itself. All right, Alan, did Weicker, did they pay for your CRM, or did you have to purchase your own CRM or so? I think I may have lost him, or so I can't hear him. I do know that a lot of
by myself.
You had to pay on your own. Yeah. And that's actually, hello, we got you. All right, there you go. Okay, I think everything started freezing up for a second. So yeah, a lot of companies make you pay for your own CRM, and those could be anywhere from $150 up to $400 a month, right? In some cases, and with KW, it's $20 a month. Okay, and it's all encompassing. It's everything. So like I said, it pays for itself. It's the lowest conversion cost. It's the lowest lead cost. And you're working with people who already know you. Right now, it's just a matter of growing your database. If you think about your database or your CRM as a monster, and it could be a monster, right? Adding contacts; those are the food for that monster. Keep adding. The more contacts you add, that's just the food, and that monster is what's going to fuel your entire business. All right. Going to skip to this. Another thing you could do is, as you're speaking to people, if you know other ways to promote yourself, and there's a whole other class on promoting yourself and everything. But one of the things I like doing after every interaction that I have is asking my clients for testimonials, asking them for reviews. Tell me what you thought. So Anna, someone like yourself who hasn't done a real estate transaction yet, right? In your last job, you probably knew someone that liked the way you worked over there. Right. So you can actually just reach out to them and say, hey, will you write a testimonial about what it was like working with me? That way you have something, right? Result, the same thing. Yeah, you can get a testimonial. It doesn't necessarily have to be real estate related. It could be like, man, working with Griselda was just an amazing amazing experience. She's professional. She's awesome. She's friendly. She's always smiling. I recommend that you work with her. There you go. She's always positive. I recommend that you always work with them, and then share that. And then other people, when they start reading those reviews, they're going to want to jump on and start working with you as well. All right. So use that to build your database. All right. And then regularly update and prune your database. I know Mike was talking about a little while ago, that if someone's unsubscribing or someone is it's been 4 years and they haven't responded back or even replied back to one of your emails, I have no problem cleaning up my database. I have no problem kicking people out because then you're just dead weight in my database. So I'm constantly cleaning it up. I'm constantly going in. I'm constantly updating my tags and playing around with it. And I'm updating it. I'm pruning it. I'm trying to make it my little perfect little bonsai tree database. All right.
John, you had a story about somebody who had unsubscribed from your emails, and then you called them, and they didn't want to unsubscribe from you necessarily. Yeah. I remember that a while back.
Yeah, guy's name is Bobby King, and Bobby was I was working with him on a property for about $500,000 condo, and one day he said he's like, I think I'm just going to I'm going to hold off for about another year or so, and I was like, okay, not a problem. And then about a month later, I got an unsubscribe email, and I take those personal, like, whatever. So I get this unsubscribed email, and I called him up and I said, hey, Bobby, what's going on, man? I thought you said you were still interested in buying something. You just wanted to hold off a year, but I saw you unsubscribed. What's up? And he said, honestly, John, I just get so many emails. I'm still very interested and I still want to work with you and so forth. I just don't want to get so many emails every day. So please continue to call me. So I actually left Bobby. He's still in my database today, and he's still renting. Right? He still hasn't purchased the property, but he's still in my database. I just know I can't email market to him, so I got to call him up, and that's fine because now I'm making a more personal touch to my database. But again, it's a matter of cleaning up your database, and it takes time. Remember, we're in this. It's the long game here. All right. Mike, do you have anything else before we go into any ahas or recap?
No, I think we covered a lot of material. It's time to let them get out there and get busy on their database for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, do you have any ahas or, I know Alan said that he had a big one with the importance of his database and working and managing his database. Any other ahas that anyone has had? Awesome, Mike. You did an awesome job today.
Wow. I was going to give him the old line, like, if you didn't like it, then it was John. Just let everybody know it was John teaching it, not me.
Yeah. Yep. So this class is also it is recorded. I know Anna asked about that earlier. It's on Facebook, so you can actually go to Facebook Live. I'm sorry, our KWCS Facebook page, and the recorded videos on there as well.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right.
You're amazing.
Absolutely.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you very much.
Great stuff. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I do appreciate that you guys answer all my questions, and you know, sometimes I feel slow and lost, but then I'm up to speed again. So I do appreciate that from both you, Mike and John, and even Alan, his golden nuggets when he throws it in. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of value from this group because we've got people from all spectrums,
Hey, I'm just-
and that's always great.
Thank you guys so much. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Keep safe.
Let's make it a great
All
day.
right,
all right?
guys, get busy.
Tomorrow. See
All right,
ya.
talk to you tomorrow. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.